Hi everyone, welcome back to our another JavaScript project, and in this project we will create this amazing responsive testimonial slider. So here is the demo. Here we have a heading and we have a smaller heading, and then we have a box here, and inside this box at the left side we have the images, we have the name and the review star and some text here. And in the right section we have two buttons, one is our right button and one is our left button. If I click on this right button, here you can see that now we are in a new page. Here you can see that we have a completely different preview here. If I now click on the right button again, here you can see that we have another preview, another one and another one. Now if I click on the back button, here we can see the previous feedback by these people. And this testimonial slider is looking so beautiful and so premium. And I also mentioned in the earlier that this testimonial slider is completely responsive. So now let's inspect our website. And here you can see that now we are in our mobile screen device, and in our mobile screen device this is taking perfect width and height, and this text and this images is looking so perfect. If I now click on the right button, here you can see that our slider is now changing, and if I now go back we can see the previous slides. Guys, please pay attention throughout this entire video, because by doing this JavaScript project you will be learning 9 different JavaScript fundamentals like DOM manipulation, control structures, arrays, arrays.forEach loop, event listeners, JavaScript CSS manipulation, immediately invoked function expression, object constructors, and event bubbling. Now in a few moments I will show you how to create this amazing responsive JavaScript testimonial slider using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. And before we start, if you guys are new in my channel, then please subscribe, like this video and press the bell icon for the future videos. Also, if you guys have any question about this tutorial, you guys can comment below. And please let me know in my comment section which JavaScript project you want to see in my next tutorial. That's it guys, let's get started. This is my file directory. Here you can see that we have image folder, we have a app.js file, we have a index.html file and a main.css file. Inside these images we have some image here, and these are the images I am going to use for making our testimonial slider. So now first we have to open our index.html file. Here in our index.html file we have created a simple HTML boilerplate, and here we have added our font awesome CDN link so that we can add some font awesome icon. We have linked our style sheet and we have linked our script file as well. If I now go to our website, here you can see that we have our heading, our small heading, and we have a box here. So I want to create a container, and inside this container I will create all of these components. So now let's do this. Let's create a div tag, and here we have to give a class, and the class name will be container. That's it. And here first we have to create a h3 for our heading. So I will simply copy this heading from here and then paste it here. Then we have to create a h5 for our smaller heading. Now copy this heading from here and then paste it here. That's it. After our heading we have to create our this box here. So for creating this box, let's create a div tag, and let's give a class name also, and the class name will be card. That's it. And here inside this card we have to first import our image. So let's create an image tag, and the source will be I have an image folder, and from this image folder I want to take the first image, which is 0.jpg. That's it. And now I want to set the width of this image, and it will be 150. Then I will create an ID, and the ID will be customer image. Then we have to create a class also, and a class will be image card. That's it guys. So after this one, now we have to create the name, we have to create the username. So that's why we have to create a h4, and it will be customer name. And here we have to give a class name also, and the class name will be customer name. So after our image and our customer name, we have to put our these reviews, our these stars. So for doing this, let's create a div tag, and we have to give a class also, and the class will be review. And then inside this div tag we have to create a span tag, and also we have to create a class, and the class name will be a star. And here we have to create our itag, and we have to give a class name so that we can import the icon from our font awesome icon. And the class name will be fa star. That's it. Now here we have created one star. Now I want to create 4 more, so that's why I copy this span tag and paste it 3 more time. And then I want to create a half star, so that's why it will be a star half. That's it. Now save and go to our website. And here you can see that we have our heading, our smaller heading, our image, our customer name, and then we have our these stars here. After this one, now we have to create our this message. So for doing this, let's go to our code here, and now we have to create a paragraph tag, and inside this paragraph we have to now put some text. Let's create a lorem 20 words. That's it. Now we have to create an ID also, and the ID will be customer text. That's it. And after this customer message, we have to create our these 2 buttons here. We have 2 buttons, one is left and one is right button. Now we have to create these buttons. So for creating this button, we have to create an anchor tag, and here href will be hash, and then we have to create a class here, and I will add 2 classes. First one will be button, and our second class name will be previous button, so prev and the button. That's it. And for this button we have to create a itag, because I want to import a font awesome icon. So that's why we have to create a class here, and the class will be fast, far, long, arrow, alt and left. That's it. So now we have created our left button. Now we have to create the right button as well. So that's why copy this tag from here and then paste it here. And for this button I want to keep the class name button, and then I will change this class name and it will be next button. Then we have to change the icon also, and it will be right. That's it. Now save and go to our website, and here you can see that we have our paragraph and we have our 2 buttons here. One is left and one is right. So guys, here we have done with our HTML. Now we have to go to our style sheet and we have to put some styling here. So for doing this, let's go to our style, and here you can see that I have imported a font family which is Poppins. And here inside our star we have our margin 0, padding 0 and box size in border box. Then in our body I have given width, height, and I have defined the font family which is Poppins, and then I have given a background here. Now save these things and go to our website. Now here you can see that we have added our style sheet. Now we have to add some styling for our these elements. So for doing this, let's go to our code here. First thing I will do, I will bring everything in the center. So that's why I will target our container class from here. Here you can see that I have a container class. So copy this container class and then paste it here. That's it. So because I want everything in the center and everything in one column, so that's why let's take display, and the display will be flags, and the flags direction will be column. Justify content will be center, align items will be center, and then text align will be also center. That's it. Now save and go to our website, and here you can see that now we have everything in the center here. So after this one, now I want to change the font colors. So for doing this, let's go to our code, and first we have to target our heading which is H3. So let's take our H3 and let's give a color here, and I want to give white color. That's it. Now let's give a font size, and the font size will be 2 rem. Then I will give a padding here. I want some padding from the bottom, so that's why it will be 0.7 rem. Then I will give some data spacing and it will be 1 pixel. Now save and go to our website, and here you can see that we have now changed our heading here. After this one, now we have to change the smaller heading as well. So for doing this, copy this H3 from here and then paste it here, and this one will be H5, and the color will be white, and our font size will be 1 rem, and the padding bottom will be 3 rem, and I don't want any lateral spacing. Now delete. Now save and go to our website, and here you can see that we have changed our this heading also. So after this one, now I want some space from the top of this container section. So for doing this, let's go to our container, and here I have to give a padding top, and it will be 5 RAM. That's it. Now save and go to our website, and here you can see that we have now a space from the top here. After this one, now we have to create our this box, this white box. So for creating this, let's go to our code here, and from here we have to copy this card and then go to our style sheet and then paste it here. And for this card, first I will give a background color, and our background color will be white. Then I will give width and height, so that's why let's give a width, and the width will be 600 pixel. And here you can see that in our website everything is now in the center, but now I want everything in the left side like this one. So for doing this, let's go to our code, and here we have to add some display so that we can arrange these things. So for display, I will simply copy these things from here and then paste it here. Display will be flags, and the flags direction will be column. Justify content will be flags as start, and the align items will be also flags as start, and the text align will be left. That's it. Now save and go to our website. Now I want some space from everywhere, from left, right, top and bottom. So let's give a padding here, and the padding will be 30 pixel from everywhere. That's it. And I want to give a border radius, and the border radius will be 3 pixel. Also I will add a box shadow, and the x value will be 0 pixel, and from the y value it will be 3 pixel, and the blur radius will be 20 pixel. Then I have to give a RGBA color, and this one will be 0, 0, 0 and 0.1. That's it. Now save and go to our website, and here you can see that now we have a space from everywhere, and then we have added a simple box shadow. Also we have added some border radius here also. After doing this, now we have to fix the image. Here you can see that this image is not taking perfect width and height, so we have to fix this issue. And then also I want some space underneath this image, so that's why let's go to our HTML, and here you can see that we have a class which is image card. Now copy this card from here and then paste it here, and here first I will give a width, and the width will be 100%. Then I will give a height also, and our height will be also 100%. Then I want some space from the bottom, so that's why margin bottom it will be 10 pixel. Now I will target the image, so that's why copy this image class and then paste it here. Target our image, and here I will add background position, and it will be center. Then I will add background size, and it will be cover. Now save and go to our website. Okay, here you can see that now our image is taking 100% width and height, and I don't want to take this image 100% width and height, because I want to actually give 100 pixel, not percent. It will be 100 pixel, and height will be also 100 pixel. Now save and go to our website. Okay, now here you can see that our image is now taking 100 pixel width and height. So after our image, now we have to style our this review icons. So for doing this, let's go to our code here. First we have to target our this review class from here and then paste it in our style sheet. And then I will add padding bottom, because I want some space at the bottom, and it will be 1 rem. Then I want to change the icon colors. So for doing this, we have to copy this star class and then paste it here. First I will give a color, and the color will be this one, and I will give a font size, and the font size will be 0.8 rem. Now save and go to our website, and here you can see that now we have our icons also. So after our icons, now we have to style our these two buttons. Now these buttons is actually underneath this text. I want these buttons in the top of this box here. So for doing this, let's go to our code here, and if I now go to our index.html file, now I will simply copy this button class from here and then paste it here. Then I want to target the next button also. Now copy this next button and then paste it here. That's it. First I will give a color and font size, so that's why copy these things and then paste it here. Color will be this one, and our font size will be 1.8 rem. That's it. Then I will give a width here, and the width will be 45 pixel. Then I want to give height also, and the height will be 45 pixel as well. Then max width will be 45 pixel. Max height will be also 45 pixel. Then I will add a line height also, and it will be 45 pixel as well. Now after this one, if I go to our website, here if I hover on these buttons, here you can see that we have a circle here. Now I want to create this circle as well, so that's why for this circle, let's create a border radius, and the border radius will be 50%. Then text align will be center. Then I want to add some transition so that we can have a smooth hover effect, and here it will be all 0.3 second ease. That's it. Now save and go to our website, and here you can see that now we have these two buttons here. Now we have to place these buttons in the top right here. So for doing this we have to add position absolute. That's why copy this previous button class from here and then paste it here. Then we have to add position, and the position will be absolute. Then we have to add some top value, and the top will be 10%. Then we have to add our right value as well, and the right value will be 14%. Now save and go to our website, and now here you can see that our this left button is actually outside of the box, because our this position is actually working according our this screen, not our this white box. Now in order to place this button inside this card, we have to give position relative inside this card. Okay, so that's why let's go to our card here, and here in our card we have to add position relative. That's it. Now save and go to our website, and here you can see that our this button is now inside our this card. After our this left button, I want to give a position of our this right button as well. So that's why just copy this button and then paste it here. Change the button class name and it will be next. And the position will be absolute. From top it will be 10%, and from right it will be 5%. Now save and go to our website. Here you can see that we have now placed both of the buttons in the top right section. Now we have to add hover effect. So for doing this, let's go to our code, and here we have a class which is button, and this button class is actually for both of these. So that's why we have to target our button, and then we have to add hover. So whenever I will hover, I want to add a background color, and the background color will be this one. Then I want to change the text color also, and it will be white. Now save and go to our website, and if I now hover, here you can see that we have changed our background color and the button color as well. That's it guys. Now here you can see that we have designed our testimonial. Now we have to make this testimonial responsive for our mobile devices. So for making this website responsive, let's inspect our website, decrease the screen size. So now here you can see that we have a screen size which is 613. If I go below this value, I want to make this section responsive. So for doing this, let's go to our code here. Because we are using media query for making our website responsive, so that's why we have to first initialize our media, and then I want to make the changes in only our screen, and now we have to give a max width and height. So that's why let's give a parameter, and it will be max width, and the max width will be 624 pixel. If I go down this value, I want to change some properties. First thing I will do, I will change the card here. In our website, this card is now taking 600 pixel width and height. If I select this card, here you can see that this card is now taking 600 pixel. Now I want to make this card responsive. That's why I will not take pixels. Instead of pixels, I will give percentage. Okay, and the width will be 90%. That's it. And then I will decrease the padding. Here you can see that we have much padding here, and I don't want that much padding. So that's why let's decrease the padding, and the padding bottom will be 20 pixel. That's it. Now save and go to our website, and here you can see that now our this section, our this card section is now 90% width. Okay, so after our this section, now I want to actually change the position of these buttons a little bit. So let's do this. Let's go to our next button and previous button, copy these sections from here and then paste it here. And for the previous button, I want to change the right section and it will be 16%. And for the next button, I don't want to change anything, so that's why I delete these classes. Now save and go to our website, and here you can see that now everything is taking perfect width and height and it is looking so beautiful. So guys, here you can see that we have done with our HTML and our CSS part as well. Now we have to jump in our main coding section, which is JavaScript. So now let's go to our app.js file. In our app.js file, we have to create a function, and inside this function I will put everything. Now let's go to our website and I want to show you something. Now we have to focus on those things which we are going to change in our JavaScript file. Like if I click one of these two buttons, I want to change the image, the customer name and the text here also. Okay, so now we have to take 4 or 5 things. First one will be these buttons, second one will be our this image, then the customer name, then the text from here. Okay, so now let's go to our code, and here we have to create a function, and this function will not have any parameter, and I don't want to give any name for this function and the parameter also. Now from here, first we have to take some variables, and inside this variable I will store our this image, our name and our this text here. So now let's take our first variable, and we have to take const, and the variable name will be customer image. First I am going to store our customer image. So for changing the image we have to take document, and then we have to take the ID here. If I go to our index.html file, here you can see that for our image I have created an ID here which is customer image. Now we have to take this ID. Now copy this ID from here, go to our app.js file, and then here we have to add query selector. Then we have to paste the ID which is customer image. That's it. Now after our this image, now I want to store the customer name also. So that's why copy this line and paste it here, and the variable name will be customer name. And then we have to select the customer name from our index.html file. So here you can see that for our h4 I have created a customer name, and we have created a class, and I don't want a class, I want a ID, so that's why it will be ID instead of class. That's it. Now we have to copy this ID from here and go to our app.js file and then paste it here. That's it. Now after our customer name, now I want to store the text as well, so that's why I paste the line here, and this one will be customer text. And for our ID, now we have to go to our index.html file, and here you can see that we have created an ID which is customer text. Now copy this text from here and then paste it here. That's it. So after our these values, now we have to import the buttons also from our index.html file. So for this button, let's take a const as well, and let's take a variable and it will be button. Then we have to target our document, query selector all, and now if I go to our index, we have a class here which is button for both of these button. Now we have to take the button class from here and it will be button. That's it. So here you can see that now we have stored all of our values. Now we have one thing left, which is image. If I go to our website, here you can see that currently I have now one image, and if I now go to our folder, here I have 5 images here. Now each time I will click on the buttons, I want to change the images. So for targeting the images, we have to actually target this image by the index numbers. It means I will put these images into one array, and then I will target the images using their index number. Like for our this image, our index number will be 0. For our this image, our index number will be 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so that's why let's go to our code here. So first we have to take an initial index number. So for our index number, let's take our let, and let's take our index. Currently we are now in our index number 0, which is our image num 0, so that's why we have to take 0. And then I have to take an array for our customers. I want to put the customer list in one array, so that's why let's take a const, and let's take a variable also, and it will be customer. And now we have to take an empty array. That's it. So after our this arrays and after our these variables, I will do a simple thing. I will create a box, and inside this box I will put our first user image, our first username, and our first user text here. Okay, so inside this box I will create image, name, and the text for each of the individual user. Okay, so for doing this, let's create a function, and the function name will be customer. And here inside this customer function, I want to first insert the image, then I will take the name, then text also. That's it. So inside this function, I will take the image, I will take the name, and I will take the text as well. So now we have to store the image, name, and text inside this function. So that's why we have to target the specific image, a specific name, and a specific text for each of these customers. Okay, that's why for targeting each of the customer, we have to take this, and we have to take the image, and the value will be image. And for our this name, the value will be name. And for our this text, the value will be text. That's it. Now here you can see that we have created a function for each of these customers. Now if I click on the button, I want to change the values of this image, name, and text. So for changing the values, we have to create another function, and this time the function name will be create customer, because each time we click on the buttons we have to generate a new customer profile. So that's why it will be create customer. And here inside this parameter we have to put these 3. That's it. Now each time we click on the buttons we have to generate a new profile, a new image. So that's why let's take a variable for our image, and the variable name will be image. And now we have to change the images each time we click on the buttons. So for changing the images, we have to take these symbols, and then we have to go to our image folder, and inside this image folder, here you can see that I have 5 images, and these images contains a serial number which is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And each time I click on these buttons I want to take a different image, so that's why we have to target our image. That's it. And this image files is actually all in JPG format. After changing the image, now we have to change the name and the text as well. So that's why let's take another let, and it will be customer. And here we have to generate new customer profiles. So that's why we have to take new, and let's take our customer function. And inside this customer function, I want to change the image, I want to change the name, and I want to change the text as well. So after generating new profile, we have to push this new profile inside our this customer box. Okay, so that's why we have to take customers dot, we have to push this new customer profile. That's it. Now after creating our new customer profile, now we have to put the values, it means the name and the text here. So for doing this, let's create our customer number 1, and it will be create customer, and here we have to pass the values. So for our first customer, our index number will be 0. It means our first image. If I go to our image, here you can see that we have an image which is 0.jpg. So that's why I am putting the image here, our first image. And then I have to give a name. So the first name will be John. Then I have to give a text, a customer text. And for our first customer, we have to generate a text. So this one will be the text here. So guys, here you can see that now we have created our first customer profile. So by doing this, we have to create more customer profiles. Now I will simply copy and then paste it here. So guys, here you can see that this is our customer num 2, and for our this second profile we have given a different name and a different text here. This is our customer profile 3, customer profile 4, and a customer profile 5 here. Okay, so now here you can see that we have created 5 customer profile, and we have done our 70% JavaScript here. And from here everything is now straightforward. I have to create some logics, and you have to understand those logics. Now if I go to our website, here you can see that I have 2 different buttons here, and each of these buttons can be pressed. Now if I click on this next button, I want to go to my next slide. If I click on the back button, I want to go to my previous slide. So now we have to create some logics and we have to find out which button is actually pressed. Okay, so now let's go to our code. Now we have to take our button and now it's time to add our for each loop function. So that's why I add for each here, and then I have to create a function, and I don't want to add any name here, and the parameter will be button. Then we have to take the button here, and here I have to add event listeners. So I want to change the profiles whenever I will click, so that's why we have to add click event listener, and we have to add a function, and the parameter will be event listeners. And now here we have to find out which button was pressed, so that's why we have to add if, and now we have to target our event listener. Then we have to check our parent element, and now we have to check if our parent element have class list contains one of the button. So first we have to check our previous button was pressed or not. So copy this previous button class and then paste it here. If our previous button is pressed, our index number should be 0, and our new index number will be the length of our customers. That's it. And we have to decrease the value of our index by 1. And now we have to set a new profile. So let's take our customer image and we have to change the source, and our new customer image will be customers index dot image. That's it. And then we have to set our new customer name, so that's why let's take customer name, and we have to add text content, and let's take our customers and it will be index dot name. That's it. After our this name we have to change the customer text as well, and we have to add text content, and the new text will be our customer dot index text. That's it. Now we have actually defined the work of our previous button. Now we have to create another function for our next button as well. So copy this if section from here and paste it here again, and this time we have to see if our next button is actually pressed or not. And if our next button is pressed, it means we have to increase the value of our index. And if our index number is actually increased, that means our index number will not be 0. So we have to find out the previous index number by the previous button. So that's why it will be customer.length. Now copy this one and then paste it here. So now if our new index number is same as the customer.length, then the new index number will be 0. That's it. And we have to remove the index minus minus, and we have to change the image name and the text here. So guys, here you can see that we have done with our JavaScript part. Let me give you a quick demo of our this JavaScript. Here you can see that we have created a function, and inside this function we have created some variables so that we can store each of these sections. It means we have to store our image, our name and our text here. Then we have targeted our button, and now I am using array, so that's why we have to set index number for our images. And now here I am using a customer array here, and I will put every customer inside this customers array. After our customer arrays, now I am creating an individual function for each of these individual customer. It means our customer will have image, will have name, and will have the text here. That's why we are targeting our image, name and text. So after our individual customer, now we have to create a function so that we can change and we can generate a new customer profile. So that's why we are creating another function which is customer, create customer, and inside this customer we have actually provided the same values, image, name and text. Now for generating a new customer, we have to first change the image. So that's why I am changing the image, and now I am calling our customer profile which is here, and I am pushing this new customer inside our this individual profile. And after our these things, now we have to actually set the customer profile. And we have created 5 customer profile: customer 1, customer 2, customer 3, customer 4 and customer 5. And for each of these customer we have different image, different name and different text here. So after our customer profile we have 2 buttons, and now I want to make these buttons working, and also I want to find out which button was pressed by the user. So that's why I am targeting our button and I am using for each loop. And now if our previous button was pressed, then we have to actually show the previous slide. So that's why if our index number is 0, we have to change the index number by the length of our index number, and we have to actually decrease the index number, and we have to generate new image, new name and new text. After our previous button, if our next button was pressed, so that's why I am actually increasing the value of our index. If our index value is already increased, it means our index number cannot be 0. So we have to find out which was the previous index number in our this function. So our previous index number was actually customer.length. Now we have to put this customer.length in here. So if our new index number and our customer.length is actually equal, now we have to change the value to the 0, and we have to change the name, image and text here. Now save, and if I go to our website, now we are in our customer profile 1. Now if I click on our next button, here you can see that our this image is not actually showing, but we have changed our name and we have changed our this text as well. Now if I click again, here you can see that we have different name and a different text here, and this previous button is also working, but our this image section is not working. Now we have to go to our code, and now we have to see what we have done wrong here. Okay, here you can see that in our new customer profile, it means in our new generated customer, here we have take a variable for generating new profile image, and in our new customer profile we have to actually added this new generated image. Okay, so this one will be actually image. Now copy this image and paste it here. Now here you can see that we have added our new generated image. Now save and go to our website, and if I now click on this button, here you can see that we have generated a new image. If I now click again and again, and here you can see that we are actually generating new profile, new name and a new text here. And if I now click on the previous button, here you can see that we are actually going back to the previous slides, previous profiles, and this is actually looking so beautiful and so professional, also responsive. And we can have this responsive testimonial for our mobile devices also, and this testimonial is looking so premium and so beautiful. That's it guys, we have created another JavaScript project, and in this JavaScript project we have created a responsive testimonial slider using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. And I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if you really do, then please subscribe, like this video and press the bell icon for the future video. That's it guys, let's see you in our another tutorial.